Lecture as teaching strategy. When a teacher takes the help of a lengthy or short explanation in order to clarify his ideas or some fact, that explanation is termed as a lecture or lecture method. Actually, the lecture method is not a new method, but it is traditional autocratic method. Some scholars feel that the lecture can be made lengthy or short as the situation is. Hence, the lecture is the easiest method of imparting knowledge to the pupils. The lecture method can be used in the following three situations: to achieve the lowest objective of the cognitive aspect, to achieve the highest objectives of the cognitive aspect, to achieve the effective objectives. It is a matter of experience that, as in the lecture method, the main teaching aspects are not included carefully. Therefore, most of the teachers usually remain unsuccessful in achieving these objectives. Main principles of lecture method. To save time, in comparison, lecture method consumes less time than the textbook. There are many occasions when the students need to see the time. We can save the pupils' time by lecture method. A comprehensive subject matter can be presented through lecture method, which saves the time as well. To review, teacher can review the main aspects of some topic and can provide guidance to the students through this lecture method. To summarize, sometimes students become upset and confused when they see the comprehensiveness of the subject matter. Then the summarization and briefing of that matter becomes necessary to make the pupils comfortable. This can be done very conveniently after listening the lecture. To give assignment. While giving home assignments, teacher should use lecture method. Teacher should brief the students regarding the assignment. To motivate, the teacher should present some aspect of the new topic which he is going to start in the class. It would calm down the pupils' curiosity and would motivate them. Also, such a lecture would help the students understand the subject matter when the same is presented to the students. To expand contents. If the students want some advanced subject matter in addition to the text written in the book, this lecture method is very useful for this purpose. Sometimes the matter published in the books is in brief or incorrect, then the lecture method proves very useful in such a situation. Preparing students to undertake projects, activities. Whenever the students are assigned some project or activity, the teacher should deliver a lecture to the students. It would reduce the wastage of time in searching out the material and wastage of energy. Precautions while using lecture strategy. Lecture is an act and a continuous effort is needed in order to gain success in it. The person delivering his lecture should know the subject fully. The contents of the lecture should be organized systematically according to the internet and mental level of the pupils. Any easy language, meaningful and interesting illustration should be used in lecturing. Important points should be emphasized during lecturing. While lecturing, an effort should be made to avoid non-relevant references and to establish contact between one topic and the other. The lecture should be interesting. The book or the notes should not be used while delivering a lecture. An appropriate teaching material should be used while lecturing. The lecture should not be so lengthy and formal that the pupils start feeling boredom. The lecture should follow an interaction between the teacher and pupils. The lecture should be delivered for the prescribed time. Lecture method should be accompanied by some other methods so that the pupils may follow the lecture properly. Teacher should have cheerful disposition in the class, otherwise learning cannot be effective. The teacher should allow the students to express their opinion in the class frankly. The lecture should be well planned. If the lecture is lengthy, then it should be divided into different topics. The teacher's style of speaking should be natural. The teacher can have the notes with him, but he should not look at these notes frequently. If he looks them again and again, the lecture would be ineffective. Therefore, the teacher should remember the contents of the lecture by heart. Students should be encouraged to take notes of the lecture being delivered. A written examination after the lecture gives feedback to the teacher regarding the effectiveness of his lecture. Lecture method should be used at some appropriate time, example, to start a new subject, to provide additional material to the students. During lecturing, the teacher should be witty and humorous. He should add some entertainment element in his lecture. Advantages, merits of lecture method. Direct contact between the teacher and the students. In lecture method, teacher comes in direct contact with the students. Hence, while lecturing, the teacher can make the subject matter very clear by his own interpretation, gestures, etc. Sometimes the teacher can express his ideas by gestures, facial expressions, tone as well as by movements of various limbs of the body. The words spoken by teacher energize the students with inspiration and enthusiasm. Control over students. Since the teacher comes in direct contact with students, he can keep them under his direct control. He serves the students from being misguided. The students can focus on the main points of the lesson. This method is economical also. In this modern age, the size of the classes is swelling. Hence, in these more populated classes, it is the only practical method for guiding the students. India is a poor country. Small classes cannot be made due to scarcity of financial resources. At present, when the literacy is being overemphasized, this significance of this method cannot be ignored. The teacher comes well prepared with his lecture in the class. In case if the teacher has well prepared his lecture and has delivered it in the class effectively, it can save a lot of time of the students. A good preparation on the part of the teacher leaves a good impact on the students. If the teacher is very much enthusiastic for his own lecture, it will affect the students positively. A sense of hard work in students too will arouse. Lecture method presents the subject matter in a systematic way. In lecture method, subject matter can be presented systematically. The difficult and complex ideas are explained in simple manners. If the students fail to understand something, the lecture can be repeated. Development of power of concentration. This method enables the students to develop their power of concentration. The teachers concentrate on their subject matter and express their ideas. Keeps students alert. During lecturing, the teacher can keep the students in alert position by asking various questions. Useful for current affairs. Social studies include social events. It is possible such events are absent from the books. The teacher throws light on those events through lectures. Economy of time. Through lecturing, a teacher can explain most of the complex things in a very short time. For example, topics like inflation and devaluation can be explained very clearly through lecturing. In other methods, one has to join the long process of discovery. Motivation for plan or an activity. Teacher's lecture delivered before executing the plan proves very useful. Supplement the information gathered by the students. Whatever the students acquired as a result of their own efforts is not complete. A lecture delivered by the teacher before starting some project supplements the knowledge. This can be done with the help of lecture method. Helpful in different topics. There are some issues in social sciences which cannot be considered as simpler. There are such items which cannot be understood by studying books only, such as nationalization of banks, inflation, etc. Through lecturing, these difficult topics can be classified very conveniently by the teacher. Students can be saved from joining the waiting lots for research etc. even for small informations. Importance in increasing students' experiences. As the students listen the lectures of the teachers, they get the experience of listening. In adult life, lecturing and communication or conservation are very significant. Students need some preparation for such situations. Hence, lecture method provides opportunities to listen and to note very rapidly. Helpful in making the subject interesting. Through lecturing, a teacher can make the subject very interesting. He can explain the subject matter with his interpretations and gestures through lecturing. The spoken words have more impact in comparison to the printed words. Sometimes a teacher can convey very effectively through his tone, gestures and facial expressions. Useful for brilliant students. Lecture method motivates the brilliant students. Like teachers, they would be inspired to use the reference books and other helping material. Disadvantages of lecture method. Not suitable for Indian conditions. It is not suitable for Indian conditions. It can match Indian conditions if the teachers have high-class knowledge, training etc. Students should also be well disciplined. In our schools, neither the high-quality teachers are available nor discipline in students is visible. Therefore, for such conditions this method is not appropriate. Lectures not interesting. Most of the teachers waste their lecturing part with the irrelevant contents. This is done by those who are weak in their hold on the subject. In this method, teacher gets opportunities for irrelevant talks. Not appropriate for school level. Some students feel that this method is not suitable for school children because of their less maturity. This method is above their level. It is suitable for college and university levels, but not for school level. Students as passive listeners. In this method, students are generally passive listeners. They don't participate in the lesson actively. Hence, necessary to provide opportunities to the students for speaking, questioning, etc. But they are usually kept away from such experiences. Monotonous classroom atmosphere. It becomes monotonous if it is used without the help of other methods. Teachers pose as great scholars. In lecture method, teacher tries to pose himself as a great scholar. For this, he makes the lesson more difficult intentionally. Hence, students fail to understand. As substitute of textbooks, this method degenerates into a substitute of textbook. Our teachers are not experienced in using this method. There are a few member of teachers who collect material from various reference books for their lectures. Hence, the lecture method has become substitute of textbook. Ready-made material. The students are given ready-made and prepared material in this method. They don't get opportunity of learning by activities. They put their reliance on artificial or virtual learning. Unpsychological. Since this method lacks knowledge by activities, it is unpsychological. In this method, students even don't get the opportunity to organize the subject matter. Hence, their development gets blocked. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share for more videos.